Okay. Let's start again. I forgot to put play in my computer, so I wasn't recording this video, so I'm going to do it again. Hello everyone, this is Ruquitas Montes, and I'm going to read the chapter 7 this time of the Officially Dead book. Let's go direct to this. Chapter 7, The Wife. As you can remember, the chapter 6 was about the police going to Linda's home to tell about the death of her husband, but it's not her husband, it's Colin. So let's go to the chapter 7. Chapter 7, The Wife. This is. Okay. When Mark Ashwood got home to his small house in Stratford-upon-Avon, he was exhausted. It was nearly 1 o'clock in the morning. Mark had had a long, tiring day. Mark was an accountant and business consultant. If you can remember, Mark was the man that found the Colin accident. First, let's continue. He helped other business people with their tax problem and gave small companies advice on how to improve their profits and save money. That day, he had been to London to see a new client who owned a small clothing factory and who wanted advice on exporting his products. Mark didn't know a lot about exporting, but he couldn't refuse an important new client. He would have to learn more about the export regulation before his next meeting with the mom. Mark quickly ate some bread and cheese, then he went upstairs. One of the two bedrooms in his house was furnished as an office. He switched on the desk lamp and sat down. His desk was tidy, as always. Pens and pencils were standing in a plastic holder. Mark pulled his copy of the Department of Trade and Industry Export Regulation from a bookshelf. Although it was late, he began to look through the thick books. He tried to concentrate, but he couldn't stop thinking about the man who had died earlier in the evening. Tell Julie I'm sorry, the man had said. Mark didn't like the idea much, but he knew that he would have to visit Julie. He knew that he would have to carry out the dying man's last wish. The following afternoon, Julie Fenton was working in her office in Bath when she had a phone call from Manchester. Jim Slater at Jackman's was wondering where Colin was. He didn't appear from their meeting that morning. He doesn't appear in the meeting. Did Julie know if anything was wrong? Julie was embarrassed. I'm sorry, she told Slater. My husband left for Manchester yesterday. I can't think why he hasn't arrived. He might have been delayed at another client's office, but I'm sure he will have phoned you. Well, as soon as you hear from him, please ask him to contact me, Slater said. Of course, Julie replied. She put the phone down, and she was furious. What did Colin think he was doing? Jackmans were such important clients. Julie dialed the number of Colin's mobile phone, but she couldn't make contact. Colin had probably switched the phone off, she thought. There was no news of Colin for the rest of the afternoon. Julie worked in the office until 6:30, testing a new computer program that she was writing. She tried calling Colin's mobile phone several times more, but she could never make contact. Where the hell is he? Julie said to herself. As Julie turned off her computer, Maggie, the company's secretary, was putting her coat on and getting ready to leave the office. I hope Colin's alright, she said. It's strange that he hasn't called. Perhaps I should phone his hotel, Julie replied. It's past 6:30 now. He might have returned to his room. What's the hotel number, Maggie? Maggie looked a little embarrassed. I'm afraid I don't know which hotel Colin is staying at. she said. Normally, he asked me to make a hotel reservation for him, but this time he said he had already done it himself. I didn't think to ask him which hotel it was. So, this is Phantom's wife, Maggie, and another people who works in the company. Well, we'll just have to wait for him to contact us then, Julie said. She was tired now, as well as angry. It was typical of Colin to be so thoughtless. She switched off her desk lamp and put on her coat. I've done enough for one day, she said to Maggie. I'm going home now. I'm going home too. As the evening passed, Julie's anger changed to worry and then to fear. Colin still had got in touch. Julie began to think that something terrible might have happened. She went to bed, but she slept badly, expecting the telephone to ring at any time, but the phone didn't ring. In the morning, she got up feeling tired and miserable. She had to do something. She picked up the telephone and dialed the local police station. Good morning, she said. I want to report a missing person. Half an hour later, a police car drove up to the house. Julie opened the front door and took the two officers, a woman and a young woman, into the living room. When exactly did your husband go missing, Mr. Fenton? The policeman asked, as they all sat down. He went away on a business trip 2 days ago, Julie began, but he failed to appear at the meeting he'll arranged, and I haven't heard from him at all since he left. I'm very worried about him. Of course, said the policeman. Does your husband often travel in business? Yes, he goes away about once a month. Has he ever failed to come home before? Julie hesitated. No, she said finally. You don't seem certain. Well, there have been a couple of times when he was staying away from home, Julie said, but those times were different. We had arguments and he was angry with me, but he didn't stay away long, and he never missed business meeting. I see, the policewoman said. And when was the last time this happened, Mr. Fenton? About 3 years ago. And there was no argument this time? No, Julie said. The police officer asked for Colin Fenton's personal details. His age, his description, what clothes he had been wearing when Julie had last seen him, and they asked what type of car he drove and its registration number. Julie took the police officer to the front door. We'll tell you if we hear anything, of course, the policewoman said. But I must warn you, Mr. Fenton, if your husband doesn't want to return, that's not a matter for the police. If he has abandoned you, that isn't a crime. The police can do nothing to help you. I understand that, Julie answered. The police officer walked back to their car and Julie closed the door. She felt miserable and alone. She went to the kitchen and made a drink. Then she had a shower and put on fresh clothes, ready to go to the office. It was going to be another busy day. And that is how the chapter 7 ends. So now the police knows that there is a dead man for the Bentley's family and there is a missing person in the Phantom family. When are they going to find out the truth? That's the question. See you in the next video.